issue. You're
Okay.
not letting me.
Just relax, and then we'll get it all taken care of. Okay?
Hello, my name is Ben Hollins. I'm the owner and lead trainer for Ryujin Tactical. My experience comes from law enforcement. I was a police officer in England and in Canada for 23 years. The tactics that we teach at Ryujin Tactical are street-proven techniques. Most of them are from like 20 plus years ago when I started policing, and all I had was a baton, a pair of handcuffs, and a can of CS gas. All we had to do was learn how to talk to people, and if we had to go hands-on, we had to know how to control them. So the majority of the tactics that we teach in any of our courses are actually proven and tested in real-life scenarios. Ryujin Tactical has a team of ex-law enforcement and actual Secret Service members. There's a total of 3 of us that work together providing courses. We offer courses in multi-level police and security tactics and training. We offer, and we are actually employed for VIP protection. Our fundamental course is Control and Restraint Fundamentals. So what we focus on here is understanding that whatever use of force package your agency, whether it's security or law enforcement, give you, that's the basic, and everything you learn is a diminishable skill set. So if you don't practice it, you're going to forget it. So what you need to do is consistently practice and maintain your skill in this area. Our Control and Restraint Fundamentals really dives into just making those nuances of, it could be the difference of holding a person in one position and then adjusting your body just inches to fully have that control of the subject. And what we see, evidence is everywhere. It's all over CCTV and dash cams and everything. You always see the push-pull with everyone. Majority of the time it's a lack of communication between the 2 officers, or they've given space. And we need to understand structure and balance. And if we understand that, we can pretty much manipulate anyone where we want to go and lock them up. The number 1 goal of control and restraint is initial control, then the arrest with the restraint. We finalize the course off with just a basic re-go over of handcuffing from a multitude of different platforms. So rather than the traditional training of someone standing still and allowing you to put handcuffs on, we'll be practicing putting handcuffs on from different control positions, different subject positions, with resistance, without resistance, so that you can build your confidence, which then allows you to be more effective on the street. I was part of police tactics training, and we only have a certain amount of time to get a recruit or get an officer able to place handcuffs on. And it's getting that fundamental, putting the cuff on. Some agencies expect it to be textbook. You're never ever going to get it textbook. The goal of handcuffing should be just to get the handcuffs on. And if they're back to front, front to back, we can fix that later. Obviously, the main goal is to have that subject controlled and restrained, and then we can diffuse the situation and de-escalate it so that we can adjust those cuffs later on. If you understand like how the human body structurally is built and how it moves, you can use that knowledge to put the handcuffs on quicker. You can use it to put that wrist lock on quicker, or take them to the floor quicker by utilizing the joint against the balance, and then against physics, essentially. The goal is to be as tactical as possible, but have the confidence that you can use those tactics. With the soft skills, we always talk about like articulation. So if you're using a technique, you should be able to articulate how you got to that position, why you got there, and then explain the necessary action that you're doing and why it's lawful. And then with our tactics, so it's very easy. I'll give you an example of the number one problem we see is, especially if someone is grounded and then they conceal their hands. A lot of people think it's an immediate panic that they're going to grab for a weapon. That may be true, but that point in time, we really need to slow down, and we really need to talk to each other, and then we need to figure it out. And you see it everywhere. You'll see it on CCTV, YouTube, wherever. You'll see what we call the polyester pile up. Everyone jumps on top. Now you're affecting the person's ability to breathe, which makes them fight harder. Or you'll see someone coming in and giving a knee strike or hitting them. Well, you're actually defeating the issue of what you're trying to do, which is get their hands up. So it's teaching them tactics that in a team, we should be able to apply all of these skill sets to come to a common goal way quicker than with everyone trying to do what they think is right. And that's just a lack of communication.
Yeah.
So when we teach these classes, we really encourage the communication, not only between my partner and myself or my team, but also between myself and the subject. Because, common misconception is they're mind readers. And, I want them to go to the floor, but I'm not telling them to go to the floor, and they're trying to stand up. So if I tell them to get to the floor, then there's a greater likelihood that they're going to go to the floor. Just have that ability to talk to them. Plus, it creates great witnesses around if people are watching, which they commonly do when they see live PD going on in front of them. If you're there verbalizing, give me your hands, stop resisting, then it's going to be way better for the law enforcement or security professional, because your witness is going to say, well, they were asking for this and the subject just refused to do it. And the other thing as well is if you are communicating with each other, it means you have your emotions in check, and you're preventing that adrenaline dump and your brain going into the subconscious override. So we're not necessarily thinking about what we're doing at that point in time. We're just reacting, whereas we should be always assessing and planning what's going on, even if it is a dynamic situation. As long as we're communicating with each other, we're using that conscious part of the brain, so we can now think and we can act and we can feel and come up with a more successful resolution within your arrest situation. We do cover off some tactics which are taught within police agency. Like I said, some of the tactics is taught to Calgary Police, is taught to Edmonton, is taught to Vancouver. But then there's some other techniques which come from my experience working in the UK, where we didn't have taser, we didn't have guns, we didn't have anything else. And it was purely, how do I get this person into control quickly, safely, and without needing to escalate force? And those are added into it. And we always think of this ideology that we shouldn't have too many tactics to pull from. We should have a set of tactics which flow with each other. So if one isn't working, we can immediately flow to another one very easily and very quickly, always staying one step ahead and always keeping the subject on the back foot. And those tactics, it's fun to do. And like I say, they're actually street proven, they work. I've used them throughout my entire 23-year service of policing, and we've taught all across the country and into the US. I always think of it this way as well, is that you look at a patrol officer or a security guard, they don't go to their gun first. They're going hands-on at first. So we should be investing time in control and restraint just as much as we are in firearms, in with our driving skills. They all combine with each other, but initially you're gonna be using that control and restraint. And we had this whole old adage when I was training with police, and that was, you'd have people turn up for the agency training, they'd pass out, and it was if they'd gotten their black belt. I've passed with my black belt, and I don't need to train it anymore because I've got all those skill sets. And then they wonder why 6 months down the line, when they get involved in a high-level resistance arrest, that nothing's working. Because although they've got the basic of it, they may miss that tiny movement which would have finished the resistance right away. And there, very rarely in agency training do you get a refresher or an annual reset in control skills. It's focused on the firearm, taser. We always say that you've got to be confident in your role and your skill set, but confidence only comes from competence. And if you're competent in that skill set, you're gonna exude that confidence. And a lot of the time, and it's proven out there through studies and statistics, that if you come into a scene and you're addressing someone, you appear confident, then you're going to de-escalate them straight away. They're going to second guess their ability to pull one over you. So if you've got someone who enjoys using control tactics, is very good at it and keeps practicing those, they're just going to deal with situations a lot faster and with a lot less force than someone who would go in there and maybe is less confident and now attempts a control hold to get handcuffs on. The person slips out of it and now they up their game. Now they start striking the person, or they go to an intermediate tool, whether they go to a taser or a baton or OC. Did they really need to get there if they were competent in their control tactics? We always get, like every course, it doesn't matter how many I've put on, there's always at least 1 or 2 people that bring up discussion points. And it was like, well, I had this situation. Well, what would have happened if I'd have done this? And so we'll actually pause and discuss it as a group, because now everyone's learning. But we'll go, okay, if this person was acting in this way and you tried this, let's just play with it and see how it would have worked out. And the majority of the time you see those light bulb moments come on with them. And some of these are seasoned police officers who've gone, man, if I'd have had this then, it would have been so much quicker. And hindsight's fantastic, but they've now got that in their toolbox. If anything else comes up in the future, which is similar, they'll be able to go, I've got this now. We have been hired by some private security companies to put on courses for their teams. So it's like they've never had use of force training before, and they're seeing an increase in violence, especially in the security realm. And so they come to us and they go like, we have no training, can you give us training? So we've provided 1-day training, we've provided a whole 40-hour week of training to security companies who don't necessarily have it, and they've come away with very competent and confident security workers who are now going out there and applying those tactics and keeping members of the public and themselves safe. Any active law enforcement who want to improve their skill set or even just brush up. Last course we did here, we had our CMP officer who just wanted to brush up on tools and came away extremely happy at the end of it. Private security companies, security loss prevention is another one, because loss prevention go hands-on and arrest criminals. So some of them get good training, some of them get average training, some get zero training whatsoever, and now are expected to go and make an arrest with someone who has a lot to lose. So if we'll even entertain people who are retired or have previous experience that want to just keep their skill set up. The difference, the way that myself and my team teach, we want you to enjoy your experience. We want you to be inquisitive about your experience. We want the questions. And our goal is to have you come away happy and confident in your abilities, and looking forward to any other courses, or going away and saying, hey, we had a really good course with these guys, and recommend us. All of our courses that we provide to 911, you'll come with a certificate of completion. If we wanted instructor level certificates, we can do that, but it would be more than a one-day event. It would be a full week.